So hello everyone, I'm wondering, welcome to my review of Ancient Magus episode 15. So I felt the episode was, the second half with Silk I think was really good. But the first half is kind of what I'm getting kind of bored of this anime, to be honestly. I don't think the episode was like horrible, but I felt that the first half, it was just resolved too easily, in my opinion. It was just like, she just goes in there, and she leaves, right? And it's just, and everything is fine. And I guess she's like getting worse and worse for every story, but it didn't say that at all. So basically, we see Peli in the beginning. She gets unconscious, takes her to this like fairy changing doctor, right? And the doctor is very fakely trying to strangle her. It looks so fake, I didn't believe it at all. Then it's resolved, and they just leave. And apparently, outside, of course, time went faster, so it's like winter now, and the Silk has been alone, and she heard back on doing nothing. And I just think it was resolved way too easily, to really hammer on that point, because it felt like nothing was learned, right? Chise didn't say anything about, oh, maybe I shouldn't spend my powers to fight this straight. I mean, I guess it implied that you learned that. There was like no character development on the side with her. She didn't like mention it at all. She didn't reflect over it. So that was really disappointing. Elias didn't reflect at all either. He reflected a little bit like, oh, humans are nicer to me than faries, which is kind of obvious in the whole storyline. Speaking as like, oh, no, not him, so yeah. So that wasn't really interesting either, in my opinion. I also think the whole fairyland disappointed me, the more I think about it, because I must say, but I'm honest, wasn't fairyland boring, really, guys? Because some people say, oh, this like fairyland awesome, but it wasn't. Come on, it's a few big trees there, and like no fairies there. Like what was that? Like they entered it, and we see the changeling, right? We see the big ant hill. We see one gnome, which is like sick or something. And then we see your husband that we learn nothing about, unfortunately. There's a half human, half dog thing. And they kind of skip over that thing. Then we didn't see any other character. We saw the queen and king and so on. Yeah, like, are they supposed to be in fairyland? Okay, we saw the small guys that entered. But I mean, I would have loved if the fairy forest was way more stuff, right? They could have like little fairies running around in the background. Some, whatever, sprites, nymphs, whatever. In his dad surrounding, some big monster in the background. It was like nothing. It looked really, it was actually, I think it was really unpopulated, right? It was really unpopulated. It's like playing a role-playing game, as typical JRPG games. You enter this town, right, and it's only like 5 people in you can talk to in the city. And it's like the hallway and they can leave the town again. It's like a Super Nintendo game, but that's really boring, right? What you want to see is, I think they really made it good, and the game's done it better since then. It's like FF9 or so, Fantasy 9, where they made it that you have this big town, like Lindblom, and it has like 7 or 8 sections where you can move around. Each section has about, I think, 5 to 10 people, maybe like 6 or so, you can talk to. But in most of the sections, you can walk on like a bridge, and on the bridge you can talk to like 5 people or so. So and that feels okay, that's about people. But this bridge is covering over the arc in the city, right? So you can like look down in the sky, because the bridge is so high up in the air, and you can see that the people are moving around down there, and it's like this house and so on. So even if you want to talk to 5 people, so they have like dialogue with 5 people, right? And you can play a card game with like one of them and so on, so it has to have too much of that things. That world feels alive, because you get the impression that, okay, I want to see this thing, but it's a huge city under me, yeah. Or I can only go to this hallway and fight these bad guys and this secret boss over here, but I can see there's like 20, 40 order of this weird LA guy behind that thing. We can't go there because the boss is here, and then this thing like breaks the whatever ceiling, and I can't go past it anymore. But that felt like it was a huge city, but the storyline, hindered me from going further. And maybe later in the game I can remove those rocks. Who knows? Probably not. But it's like those kind of feeling here. I guess another typical example is like Star Wars movies, especially when they're at Coruscant. So you jump out in the big cars, right, and they're flying over there, and you can see there's like layers of different traffics under them. And that makes it feel gigantic, like, oh, there really has millions of people there. But especially then in gaming, it's about like designing that it looks really big, but the player can't go there for whatever reason, but they still believe it's big, so the fantasy is there, right? And when I watched the anime here, I actually think the force was really boring, in my opinion. That's my honest, and I actually would say my professional opinion, but I would have populated it, honestly. Like, they could have done some cheap effects to make the force look really better. And if I was the artist, the mangaka drawing it, I probably also would have drawn in some giants in the background pretty much. No, but kind of that. Like, I felt like this moving around here, it's a lot of like big trees in the background, and there is surface behind there. Why can't we see more movement behind it? Why can't we see that there are like animals or like magician, fairies, so on, flying behind over there? something over there. Why couldn't her husband have some friends waiting for him when he was like jumping through the forest? Just like they don't have to have dialogue, right? That's my point. They don't have to have dialogue, but if you see them there, okay, so there's a lot of faries here. It's interesting. A lot of like different animals, different magical stuff, and so on. We probably never get to know all of these things. Maybe only a few of them, but they are there, right? And it gives you the magic and so on. But that was just like, no, it's like 4 people living in this forest. I think it was actually really, really poorly done in my opinion. And I really mean it also, like I said, probably like a professional opinion. If I can be, it might sound harsh, but it's like it actually is pretty badly done production-wise, because that is not how you do it. But I guess though, it's not the anime's fault. I haven't read the manga, but I would imagine that the manga is equally the same. Like it's the same thing. The manga only drew like 4 people in the forest. So the anime was like, we can't make more, that would break the canon, so let's just have these 4 people here. So it's probably source material, but I don't get it, to be honest. To me, it feels like it's an easy way to just add a few stuff in the background and you will create the illusion at least. That's my point here, right? You can create the illusion that the city is much more grander than it is, right? So like in a game, you give the illusion that, well, you can only play this minigame against these people in this town, but it's because you can only reach this surface here. There actually are hundreds of more players over there, but obviously it would take a lot of work for us to do a minigame with like 200 different players in this one town. That's too much work, so we only have like 3 of them. But we pretend that's a lot more. We give the immersion of that, so you at least have the feeling for it, right? But here they just ignore it completely. So I was like, what? Yeah, it really needs manipulation. But yeah, I think the story was pretty bad. So that's, I mean, I think sometimes it's like you see one issue, and for me it was definitely the doctor didn't feel very threatening at all, and it was solved too quickly, and also the lack of like population in the forest, or generally in the town and so on. And it's kind of like you see just 2 negative things, so you get a negative review feel to it, right? Like, it's pretty poor episode. And I guess, so if this sounds too negative now, it's because if I see like one big negative thing, right, they can attract me to the other negative thing as well. Like, it makes it easier to spot the other issues, I would say. But anyway, so the doctor, I look at my reaction, I didn't feel it was like very threatening. It just felt like it was so fake to me. Like it was like, she won't die. No, it was the main character, but it didn't feel real. It was just so sudden. And at the same time, you see the Queen and King, or mainly the Queen talking to Elias, and the dad was kind of pointless, this dialogue. And then it's fixed, right? And it felt, it didn't feel much real of it. But generally, though, I think the big issue here that Chise gets sick again for like the whatever 5th, 6th time. She gets turned into water again for like the 5th, 6th time. And it's just resolved in like half episode, so they just resolve her injuries, like whatever. It reminds me of the Fox thing also, that this was resolved in like 3 minutes. But I think they keep resolving a plot here way too quickly. And it's just weird. Like I feel like I had more exposition of that thing, maybe it would be better. But it was also slowly paced as always, so I don't know, but like it should be, but more stuff could be said in the same amount of time, right? It just feels weird that they just kind of resolved it without any effect over her, and there was no reflection of what happened and so on. There also was no cliffhanger, I suppose. So there's like no ending to it. I mean, the Silky had her story, that was great. When they zoomed in, Silky story was great, but the general main story was like whatever, just weird, and they didn't like connect back to it in the end of the episode at all. After they met Silky and so on, they didn't connect back to what they learned or anything. So it was a really weird episode. It felt like you could have skipped it completely. Maybe I got it wrong, maybe something later, but it feels like you could skip it completely. It feels like you could go after the vampire chick last week, skip the blood scene, and jump to episode 16. Would you have missed anything? You would have missed Silky's back, which was great. I'll comment to that soon here. But the main story didn't need to do anything, right? She's like bleeding, cured, home. Like it was so easy for her. It was so quick and so easy, without any reflection of character development. What we saw at least. So super weird. But anyway, the second story then, that was great though. So that was a much shorter story, of course, with Silky. But that was a good story, yeah. That was a good, neat little story there. Like a house, haunting houses. The house she was living in, I guess, got destroyed, or people died or whatever. And then she was kind of lost, right? Trying to find a new house or people to protect or watch or whatever. And the Spriggan, the queen's, whatever it is, I guess her or something, he helped her to the Elias house, and then she was happy, right? But it was really nice there, seeing her like changing tapestry and so on. And of course she's kind of like alone there, waiting for them to return and so on. And her just smiling, her jumping and hugging them in the end. Hugging was great. So That was a nice little short mini story. I also like the detail there. I like that right in anything, in like the reference in the side universe was really good. So I love the two that she was like sitting there being all sad, and then the vampire course or whatever they call her later on, she flies past with her friend and they're like, oh, some hot guys in town, and so that was great, right? And we see her friend is like, yay, and then she fights over there. So that was really good. So like we got some connection with other fairies in the world, and of course Spriggan was the guy helping her, but generally that was really good. So that was like a nice short little story, but that's not to say though. It felt nice. We kind of know what she is now. She's just kind of like haunting fairy house thing, and she fixes the house and protects people in it, and likes. She gets her joy of seeing people liking that. Oh, what nice clean it is, and that kind of thing, right? And she has magical power over the house. She can make it look different to someone on the inside. That was nice. I will say one thing though. That was a little weird. I'm gonna be nitpicking here, but they were gone for like whatever a few months, right? So why is she like cleaning the dishwasher one? Because I guess if she just eat herself or so what, she might eat herself. But it was like she was doing a typical house. She's like the magical maiden, right? She was doing a typical like cleaning this number of dishes here and so on. How would that happen? She's living alone in the house for like half a year or so. So we should go like one dish, that she like one dish, don't clean it, and like let it be like 20 dishes, then she clean all of them. I mean, I know some people do that, some bachelors, like I wouldn't do that, but she's supposed to be the cleaning housemaid, right? Like the magical housemaid, and they clean stuff all the time. So I have a hard time seeing her eating food and then leaving that food on a dish or whatever, right? Leaving a dirty dish, and then like stacking up like 20 or 40 dishes, and then she would do the whole, doing the nice, stacking up those nice like kitchen clean kind of system like a family has is when everyone eats one dish, and so sort of breakfast and it fix those things. I mean, if they eat like 3 times a day, there are 4 people including yourself, it's 5 people, that's 15 dishes, right? If they have 1 new dish per food or whatever and so on, which is pretty fair. Yeah, but she was living alone here for half a year, so why would she have like a huge like why would that happen to her? Based on she likes cleaning, so she wouldn't have left the dishes out uncleaned, right? It was just like, okay, I guess it's a nice little vision there, but it doesn't make any sense logically thinking about it. Anyway, I'll put that review. I must be honest here. I think one thing definitely is like they could populate the world so much better. There's probably my big concern with it. It feels kind of, why wouldn't you do that? Because it's not that hard. That's the I mean, I'm not a good artist when it comes to drawing, absolutely not. So maybe I should say too much that. It feels like it's an easy way to just like add, like throw in a freaking guy in the background and some like faries flying on top of there. A little more like that in all of those scenes, and it looks so much more alive, right? Unless the point is that the fairy world is empty and no one's living there anymore. Or something. I guess it could be a thing. I don't know. This is weird to me. Anyway, hope I see you. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.